Visit us on onestepenglish.com. Listening. Listening. Directions in listening section, you will hear monologues, dialogues, and academic talks.
Amelia Earhart. The first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean was Amelia Earhart. That was a brave thing to do, but Amelia was not easily scared. Even as a child she was brave. While growing up, Amelia loved to play games like baseball and basketball. She and her sister Muriel used to play hard every day. When Amelia was in the 3rd grade, her mother and father took her to a state fair. There she saw her first airplane. She decided then that she wanted to learn to fly. It was many years before Amelia Earhart was old enough to begin flying. Once she began, though, she made up for her lost time. She flew fast and far. After she flew across the Atlantic Ocean, she wrote a book about it. The president even invited her to the White House and said he was proud of her. Number 1. When did Amelia Earhart decide that she wanted to learn to fly?
Letter A. She decided when her parents asked her.
Letter B. She decided when her sister Muriel decided to get that course too.
Letter C. She decided when she saw her first airplane.
The correct answer is letter C. Amelia Earhart decided that she wanted to learn to fly when she saw her first airplane.
Number 2. What did Earhart do after flying across the Atlantic Ocean?
Letter A. She wrote a book about it.
Letter B. She was invited by the president.
Letter C. She became an instructor.
The correct answer is letter A. After flying across the Atlantic Ocean, Amelia Earhart wrote a book about it.
Number 3. What made Earhart the first woman to fly across Atlantic Ocean?
Letter A. Her family.
Letter B. Her bravery and determination.
Letter C. Her connection with the president.
The correct answer is letter B. Amelia Earhart's bravery and determination made her the first woman to fly across Atlantic Ocean. Reading section.
In this section, you will be required to read 2 passages on varying topics. After each passage, you will answer questions to test your ability to understand vocabulary, writer's point of view, factual information and sentence structures.
Reading number 1. An excerpt from the March 20th, 1971, issue of Science News. Source: www.sciencenews.org.
Number 1. According to the doctors, how can they treat chronic pains?
Letter A. Chronic pain can be treated surgically by severing nerves or by destroying a small part of the brain that perceives pain.
Letter B. Chronic pain can be treated surgically even without destroying a small part of the brain that perceives pain.
Letter C. Chronic pain can be treated surgically and spending months to the hospital.
The correct answer is letter A. According to the doctors, chronic pain can be treated surgically by severing nerves or by destroying a small part of the brain that perceives pain.
Number 2. When did researchers test the first implantable device in patients in the United States?
Letter A. 1967.
Letter B. 1970.
Letter C. 1971.
The correct answer is letter A. In 1967, researchers tested the first implantable device in patients in the United States.
Number 3. What can a spinal cord stimulation do more than relieving pain?
Letter A. It can also treat other patients' diseases.
Letter B. Sending impulses to specific nerve cells at precise times has been shown to help people paralyzed by severe injuries walk again.
Letter C. Electric impulses help patients to identify other diseases and can be treated right away.
The correct answer is letter B. Spinal cord stimulation can do more than relieve pain. Sending impulses to specific nerve cells at precise times has been shown to help people paralyzed by severe injuries walk again. Reading number 2. An excerpt from the House. Some states are moving to restrict transgender women in sports. Source: www.nytimes.com.
Number 1. What was the bill signed by Governor Reeves for?
Letter A. It would allow public schools and universities to let every student to compete regardless of gender.
Letter B. It would make universities pick the most qualified athletes.
Letter C. It would require public schools and universities to have athletes compete according to their sex assigned at birth rather than gender identity.
The correct answer is letter C. The bill would require public schools and universities to have athletes compete according to their sex assigned at birth rather than gender identity.
Number 2. Why did more than 500 student athletes sign a letter that was sent to the NCAA?
Letter A. Students thanked Governor Reeves for the bill she signed.
Letter B. They are pressing the organization's leaders to stop holding championship events in states that restrict or aim to restrict transgender athletes.
Letter C. The bill opened opportunities for other students.
The correct answer is letter B. More than 500 student athletes signed a letter that was sent to the NCAA because they are pressing the organization's leaders to stop holding championship events in states that restrict or aim to restrict transgender athletes.
You've
Thank you
reached the
for
mid part
watching.
of the video. Please don't forget to click like and subscribe.
Vocab. In this section, you will learn vocabulary words with its meanings and examples. In the test, there are 5 questions and you have 10 seconds to answer each question.
Collateral. Noun, a property pledged by the borrower as security for a loan repayment.
Example. Sandra used her car as a collateral for a bank loan.
Implant. Verb, insert or set securely in a person's body.
Example. There's a little chance to survive in implanting artificial heart.
Interact. Verb, to act reciprocally with one another.
Example. The policeman advised the witness to interact with him.
Momentum. Noun, the quantity or property of a moving body.
Example. Wine lost his momentum because of the news he received.
Transgender. Adjective, a gender identity that differs from their birth sex.
Example. The contest to be held on 7th of June is for transgender people. Let's have a quick test on vocab section.
Number 1. Playing board games with my siblings is my way to blank with them. Verb, to act reciprocally with one another.
Letter A. Collateral. Letter B. Implant. Letter C. Interact. Letter D. Momentum. Letter E. Transgender.
The correct answer is, letter C. Playing board games with my siblings is my way to interact with them.
Number 2. We should accept everyone's identity whether it's gay, bisexual or blank. Adjective, a gender identity that differs from their birth sex.
Letter A. Collateral. Letter B. Implant. Letter C. Interact. Letter D. Momentum. Letter E. Transgender.
The correct answer is, letter E. We should accept everyone's identity whether it's gay, bisexual or transgender.
Number 3. Banks need to insure a blank before they lend money. Noun, a property pledged by the borrower as security for a loan repayment.
Letter A. Collateral. Letter B. Implant. Letter C. Interact. Letter D. Momentum. Letter E. Transgender.
The correct answer is, letter A. Banks need to insure collateral before they lend money.
Number 4. Kia showed fresh blank during her speech. Noun, the quantity or property of a moving body.
Letter A. Collateral. Letter B. Implant. Letter C. Interact. Letter D. Momentum. Letter E. Transgender.
The correct answer is, letter D. Kia showed fresh momentum during her speech.
Number 5. The operation to blank a cornea took hours. Verb, insert or set securely in a person's body.
Letter A. Collateral. Letter B. Implant. Letter C. Interact. Letter D. Momentum. Letter E. Transgender.
The correct answer is, letter B. The operation to implant a cornea took hours.
Speaking section. What do you prefer, living in the city or countryside?
I would love to choose to live in the countryside. I grew up living there and would always choose to continue living there. The place is surrounded by lots of beautiful green fields and animals. One of my favorite things to do is to plant vegetable seeds in our backyard. There, I won't need to buy vegetables in the city anymore. I can also play with my siblings and friends in the garden without worrying about the pollution we might get if we are exposed too much outside. Though, living in the city is also a good experience. It has everything a person needs, too many opportunities, but the downsides are it's too crowded and polluted. Based on my experience, it's hard to live in the city, especially when you're alone. Everything can be bought and it's hard to go outside because of our situation right now. Nevertheless, Both the city and countryside are good to live in. But for me, I would choose to live in the countryside. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. Visit us on onestepenglish.education.